Hey there, fanboys and fangirls. This is your host, the other Luke, and back with a name this time. He was lost, but he is now known as the other host.
Hello, everybody.
And also joining in this week, we have our new host coming in, Matt, but he's going to be known as Sherlock Colvin.
Woo! Yeah, I'm the new guy.
The new
It's
guy.
like the first day of school. It's like, what do I
The
do?
new guy.
I'm just kind of standing here.
You're like Squid.
Yeah, exactly. Except I'm not nearly as smart as he was. I'm honest. So this is cool. Yeah, I used to do a podcast. Well, I did a couple like small ones, but yeah, we kind of had to break that up because I moved and it was just too much of a logistical problem to get everybody together. But yeah, Tyler and me, I guess the other Luke, if I'm being correct here, we went to college together, and then, long story short, we connected, and then here I am. And I'm a total dork, so I feel like I'll be a decent fit.
You joined the Legion of Casters.
Oh my, what have I done?
So this week is going to be a little bit different than our last couple episodes. Our last two episodes is kind of a direction we're heading with movies once they come out, and ones that we're going to be covering more in depth. But this episode, we're kind of going to go into several topics. We have a wide range from Assassin's Creed to Deadpool to some new Star Wars news. It's not all new, but we just want to kind of get everybody caught up, discuss what we've seen so far.
New to us.
Yeah. Discuss, theories, things that we might think might be happening, and go from there.
Sounds like a plan. Aye, Capitan.
So you want to start us off with the Assassin's Creed trailer?
Me or?
I'll take it. I got it.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed. We got a trailer. I can't remember how many. It was a few days ago, right? Or am
It was like over the weekend that they just randomly dropped it.
Yeah. There you go. Over the weekend. Yeah, it was random too. Yeah, you're right. It came out of nowhere. Yeah. You've got Michael Fassbender, which everyone knows him as Magneto in the X. I said his name right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or David.
Yeah.
He was David.
David, that's right. Prometheus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with X-Men because I think more people. Well,
Probably.
yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are angry over Prometheus.
And they're more familiar with the X-Men, the First Class and Days of Future Past, where he plays Magneto.
The young Ian McKellen.
Right. Which I honestly, they've casted that role with him pretty good. I'm happy with how he's handled Magneto.
Oh,
yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. The Assassin's Creed movie, it's not following Desmond from the games. It's a new guy. Colin Lynch is the new name of the guy we got. Kind of looks like he from the trailer he was a prisoner and he's being executed, but they faked his death, his execution, so he would be erased from, I guess, the grid. Yeah, the grid. Everyone thinks he's dead. He doesn't exist anymore, but he really does.
That way, no matter what's happened to him, no one's really going to know because everyone thinks he's dead.
It's all a mystery.
Right. It's taking place during the Spanish Inquisition, which honestly, it's a pretty dark time in history's.
Because nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Right. The Inquisition. What a show.
I had to.
Yeah. And they from the trailers, it looks super. There's going to have the acrobats. If you play the games, you're climbing up walls, jumping off roofs, rolling on the ground. The fight scenes from the trailer look fantastic. You've got the dual hidden blades, which I didn't know they would head that way, but I'm okay with it. also something that stood out to me. They showed an eagle flying. I don't know. I guess is it Spain? We're gonna go Spanish because it's in Spain. Um, show the flying eagle, which is a nod to the game if you've played it.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I the more Easter eggs they put in this kind of thing, the better, in my opinion.
It seems like they have an understanding of what they're trying to do with it, as well as pay tribute to, its roots and everything.
Yeah,
Make it
yeah,
familiar.
If nothing else, the stunt work and how this movie is shot is going to be fantastic. I don't know anything really about Assassin's Creed except I've played the first game and I've seen people play the other games. I know there's a very rich mythology there, but I mean, I have no idea what to expect with this.
yeah. And the games they take place during major historical events. The first one I can't remember. It's the Crusades, I think, is the first one.
Yeah, because you go to Jerusalem and stuff.
Yeah. Then the second one you've got the Renaissance, uh, with nods to Da Vinci and that. And then the third one, which honestly I don't think got too good of praise, was during the American Revolution. And then you got Black Flag, which I don't think it really. I mean, it was set during the pirate times.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, that was my favorite out of all of them. The naval
You do a lot
battles.
with that one.
Yeah, yeah.
You know how go ahead.
Then the new one, Unity, I think was the new one, or the next one, which was the French Revolution. And then you got Syndicate. I haven't played Syndicate, and I haven't looked into that one yet, so I don't know much about that one.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say if Disney really wants to make some like quick money, especially since they just dissolved their like video game development branch, they need to reach out to Ubisoft and just make us a Pirates of the Caribbean game. Do everything you did with Black Flag, just stick it with Jack Sparrow and just that universe.
Oh, that would be.
It would be epic, hopefully, and it would make so much money.
Yes.
They just need to. They just need to go at it like they went with the first movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be. It'd be kind of like having the open world Pokemon game. It's just one of those things that you just. It needs to exist, and the reason it doesn't, it just kind of. It bothers you.
Yeah. It's kind of like I want them to do like a Legend of Zelda game where it's like Skyrim, but it's within Hyrule and everything. I think that'd be cool.
Is that not what they're doing with the Wii U one coming out? If they're still
they are? They're doing a new one? I'm totally like I don't have a Wii U or anything, so I don't know what's going on with that.
I know it's in works. I haven't kept up with the news with that one. With Nintendo with E3 coming up.
Right.
If they're going to announce their new console, I'm thinking it's a handheld console is what they're going to announce.
You think?
I hope so, because honestly, I know not a lot of people are too thrilled with the Wii U, but I enjoy the Wii U.
Because I just actually finally upgraded to a 3DS.
Right.
To get ready for because I got red. So I'm playing through on that.
Now, is that just literally a new, or are they just re-releasing the old game, or is that like an HD?
It's just a straight port. It's
okay.
It's
still like the square frame and everything.
Okay.
But the cool thing is you'll be able to take the Pokemon that you train in this game over to Sun and Moon that come out later on this year.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. And the all the glitches are still there too, all the Mew glitches and stuff like that.
Right. See, so yeah, it's a giant nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's how it should be.
Put us back on track. We're drifting.
Sure.
Yeah. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's why my last podcast is called Scatterbrain.
Yeah. Totally getting off topic here, guys. I also noticed in the trailer they don't make any reference to Abstergo besides you have the symbol, the Abstergo logo on there. They just never mention it. It looked kind of weird. He was like on a machine that was flying him around. It was weird. I don't know how that's going to work.
I was gonna say, do you
And
think
the finally
that's
the
gonna come into play later?
I want to say yes because it looked like he was training um, in real time. Because you know how they hook him up to the Animus and he goes back into his ancestor times, but in the real time it looked like he was training for who knows what. Because we really don't really know much. We just got this trailer out of the blue, really.
Yeah.
And the final thing I noticed, besides all the fighting and the choreography of the jumping from building to building, is the last scene of the trailer. We have an assassin jumping off a rooftop, which again is reference to the game, which kudos to them, right?
Yeah, and the way they're shooting it looks really cool too.
Yeah.
Like they did a very, very big wide shot. I mean, that's going to be the one that they're going to put on all the big like go see this in IMAX, go see it in like big
Oh, that's gonna
large
be
format. That's going to be the thing. And hey, props to them for it because that'll look cool.
I didn't even think about the IMAX. That's probably gonna be the way to see it.
Then?
Oh yeah,
Are they doing that one in IMAX?
I mean, I hope.
I'm sure they are. Here, I'm gonna look.
While you look, the release date for Assassin's Creed is Christmas, the 21st of 2016. So that one's going to be around the same time as Rogue One, which we're going to talk about later.
Yes.
And they are doing an IMAX version.
They are?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, definitely know what I'm seeing that then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the way to see this movie, I think.
Oh yeah. Go big
Just
or go
because
home.
I love those moments where you get to those highest points in the game,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to see the horizon, and you just get to see the entire world. And they go hard on that, and it just looks so amazing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Didn't
Really
hear
showcases them, or showcases the landscapes.
didn't hear the eagle make the noise it makes, but I'm hoping they'll add that in later.
You know what could be is that it could be like the initial Star Wars teaser, like the one they put out in November of like 2013 or whatever, where it was just like these are all the shots we have finished. I mean, it's still pieced together enough where you know what was going on, but it was at least with Assassin's Creed, but it still left a lot to mystery, which is I'm sure intentional, and I'm sure also they're still working on some stuff in post.
Right.
I do like the fact that they seem to be with the stunt work. I mean, this doesn't seem like a giant CG fest. It seems like they are these are guys doing full-fledged stunts and fights and everything, and I like that.
There's some of the behind-the-scenes photos that they released. You can see that there's not a lot of green screen. They have some nice-looking locations that they're going for this movie.
Yeah, they put some money into this. And the guy who did it, Justin Kurzel, I think that's how you say his name. He's coming right off of Macbeth with Michael Fassbender. Obviously, he's going from Shakespeare to a video game, but he's still sticking with kind of like a period tone. I mean, it's like if the guy can do Shakespeare, I think that says something. They're not just hiring like the next like kind of Michael Bay kind of person to do this.
Right.
They're
Someone
hiring
who
somebody
is accustomed to that period. And doing period pieces.
Yeah, someone who kind of they're more of an artsy person doing it, and I like that they're taking that chance with that. I hope it works. I mean, everything I'm seeing in the trailer looks awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of the costume?
That's always
I was
one thing
pleased with it. Yeah.
That I kind of geek out about a lot is how hard they go into the costumes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was because it's blue in the movie as opposed to kind of the typical white thing that they do in the games.
In the games, right? You get like I said, the hidden blade. You get the double hidden blades. You also, I noticed, you got the throwing knives on the shoulder, which that's a good, cool little nod there, I guess, to the original costumes.
Oh yeah. The whole thing just looks like they took like the game design and then just like they went back to like, okay, how would this look during the the Spanish Inquisition?
Yeah, because they even they have the other puzzle you always you jump off and dive into.
Yeah, like the haystacks.
Yeah,
Didn't see much of the stealthy as far as hiding it around or hiding in crowds or in high grass or that kind of thing in the trailer, but it won't surprise me if we do see that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that's probably like when we finally get like the full like story trailer, like the second trailer, they'll probably show a little bit more of that. That's a way that you start the trailer. Have them like closing in on somebody. You know, like the very first cutscene in the first game when they show them all sneaking into like kind of isn't it like a hanging or something, and then they take somebody out.
Yeah,
They ought to do something like that.
that's a good idea. I'd be cool with that.
It's kind of like in one of the Batman versus Superman trailers when you like they show Bruce Wayne running through Metropolis during the last bit of Man of Steel, and they just play it quietly. They could do something like that, just play it with some small music cues, and then just have Fassbender come out and just like stick somebody with one of the hidden blades. I don't know. Now I'm talking as an editor.
that would look cool.
Just ideas, but it seems like we've got some cool in the works with this, but
yeah. Well, I guess speaking of costumes and suits,
in the works.
yeah, and our thoughts and reactions, we can go into our next topic, which is the Power Rangers suits. So I haven't heard y'all's thoughts on these yet. So what do you think about Tony Stark? I mean, Zordon.
See, that was my first thought.
Yeah. No, definitely. They totally look like Iron Man armor, which I'm gonna have to refresh my viewing because I've only seen the picture once and I go into it, but it totally looked Iron Man-esque.
Yeah. I mean, I like the morphers. Like I like how they look, but it's just what's with this big giant
crystal or whatever?
Yeah, like in the center of the chest.
It kind of reminds me, like, it's almost like they want like the combat like armorness of like the Christopher Nolan Batsuit mixed with like a bit of RoboCop, and then they painted it up like Iron Man.
Yeah, the black one straight up looks like he's just. It
looks like RoboCop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's up with like the ab lights?
It's their powers. Their powers flowing through them. I don't know. and
CrossFit is sponsoring them.
Yeah, right. Sheesh.
I mean,
this is a reboot of the original, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, right?
Right.
Okay.
Now, is anybody from the original like cast involved with this?
I'm aware of. I think there was a time when Jason David Frank had posted some stuff about talks of it or whatever, but
yeah,
I mean, he probably was going to be like the Stan Lee of the Power Ranger world.
It'll be like the A-Team where they just scatter the cameos throughout the movie.
Yeah, you'll probably have him just pop up somewhere, and that's going to be.
If any of the originals make an appearance, it's going to be him, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he still does the other shows like pretty regularly.
He did was he in the bootleg universe short that happened with like Katie Sackhoff and stuff? He was?
He actually came out in a statement how he was definitely not for that video. He said it was not what Power Rangers was about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but he was just. I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it was a cool take on it. I mean, it was a realistic view on if you put teenagers through this kind of, these situations. I mean, yeah, they're going to get messed up.
I'm kind of like, I haven't seen or really refreshed myself with anything as far as like the Power Rangers since like I was in kindergarten. Like I saw episodes here and there. I mean, I remember what they look like, and the theme song's catchy as all get out. But
Go Power Rangers.
But like, what's the basic gist of like how they get their abilities or something? or whatever.
They have their power coins that they get from Zordon, and they use
Okay.
and they channel that creature, and they control that Zord.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Ooh, I can't wait for it's Zordon, right? That's the big or when they come together. What is it they form? I'm totally blanking right now. Ah, that's gonna bother me.
I
Um,
wonder, do you think they're gonna go like CGI with that, or are they gonna do like guys in suits, or what do you think?
No, no, they're definitely
no, they're
gonna go
definitely not gonna
CGI.
do that. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Well, do you think they're gonna just like jump into the CGI, or are they gonna do like Godzilla and do like a motion capture kind of thing? I think that would be cool.
I mean, that would be what we would want. They choose to do is another thing.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said what they choose to do is something totally different. As we told that some studios don't make the best judgment calls.
Who is the studio behind this one?
That's a good question.
Oh, let's see here. And which one here is let's just kind of give you a reference
Hmm.
from Rita from the original show and how Elizabeth Banks looks as Rita in the movie. It's a and she's very very green,
Yeah, it's a completely
which
different take on the character too.
It looks
Like,
very Green Goblin, like
yeah,
from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
and see
yeah.
what I was thinking since they don't show the Green Ranger, they
Hmm.
I think the episode's Green with Envy or Green with Evil or something. It was one of the episodes from the second season of
Yeah,
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, um, where Rita pretty much creates the Green Ranger. Um, but if you look at her original costume, it's kind of there's not really any green in it at all.
It's like a totally different costume. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like Dragon Ball Z looking almost.
And she has this huge headdress on. Uh, but I mean, yeah, this is more like she kind of looks like Poison Ivy in a little bit, with the way it
Oh
kind of looks
yeah.
like leaves like coming off of her.
hmm now with the original Power Rangers, was Tommy was he in the early episodes? Do y'all remember?
Until
Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea.
As I'm looking through the cast list, and they don't have anyone playing Tommy. So
he didn't come until a little bit later, whenever the
yeah,
Green Ranger came in, and then when they made the transition of him over to the White Ranger.
yeah. I'm thinking he might get introduced at the end of the movie,
Yeah,
or he
That's
could.
your post-credit scene right
yeah,
there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could definitely see that being a.
Because they're trying to do like a whole like cinematic universe kind of thing with this, right?
I have no idea.
I mean, it's Lionsgate. They kind of their bread and butter was Hunger Games, and they're kind of done with that now. So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
You
So
can't
speaking
can't
of,
really.
one thing I wanted to, just because we're on the topic of Power Rangers, there's this artist I wanted to show you who was one of the original. He designed Zed on from Power Rangers, and he actually just recently released a sculpt that he did of like a new Zed, and it's actually pretty cool. I'm actually gonna shoot that over to you right now.
Do you guys think we'll get to see him?
I hope so.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm looking at these. There's a couple pictures of Elizabeth Banks as Rita on IMDb. You can barely tell that's her. they've got some stills besides the one that everyone's seen. There's another picture on here.
Like a set picture.
Yeah,
Oh, that sculpt, that's what's up.
Right? Is that not awesome?
Yeah.
it looks scary. I don't remember him being that scary.
It's got like a Resident Evil feel to it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. He actually did I wouldn't be surprised if he was on it, but did something with it because he did a lot of the makeup for the Hunger Games, and
Oh, really?
yeah,
There you go. That's
he was
perfect.
on season 1 of Face Off.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow. Good for him. I hope that's what happened. I hope he, yeah, because the Lionsgate connection, he would have
Yeah, it'd be cool if they
gotten
brought
the
him back
gig.
on. They brought him back on board.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, Matt, I know this next topic here goes
Oh,
out for a lot of people, but this one actually is pretty close to you. So you wanna?
it's kind of a relative thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Darwin Cook passed away over the weekend, and I'm still fairly fresh to his work, but I definitely know his artwork. He actually well, he's most notable for the new, Justice League: The New Frontier. Well, that's they did an animated version of it, like a movie, but he did this like limited run comic that kind of bridged the gap between Golden Age DC and Silver Age DC, and it was actually really cool. And the whole thing was set to the backdrop of kind of like the 1960s and like kind of like Kennedy and everything. And it's a very, very well done piece. But my thing with Darwin Cook is I've always loved his art style. It's funny because him and Bruce Timm have a very similar style. Bruce Timm, notably known for Batman the Animated Series, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, Superman the Animated Series. Basically, the whole DC animated universe from the early 2000s and the 90s. What I found out through my research actually is that him and Darwin Cook actually worked together to help come up with those designs, which makes sense why their styles are so similar. Darwin Cook's just got this beautiful like it's kind of got this like old like kind of like old world kind of turn of the century kind of like it looks like it looks like artwork that you'd see at like the World's Fair or something. Like especially like I mean hell in like Iron Man or not Iron Man in Captain America the First Avenger, the Stark Expo, that's kind of the aesthetic that it kind of sets that Tomorrowland kind of Disney vibe. And I just really like it, and I'm sad that he passed. What's really bad about it is that his family had just announced on his website that he had cancer the day prior. They said it was a very aggressive form, but I mean, for them to come out and say that it happened and then he just goes the next day, that's
Oh,
tough.
wow.
And he's only 53. That's the crazy thing.
So it
But
happened pretty fast.
yeah, I did a little tribute sketch. I drew Raven, one of my favorite DC characters, in his style, and I'm doing a stream tomorrow night with my artwork, and I'll be doing some more Darwin Cook stuff just as kind of a tribute to him. He also, recently he wrote the with the Before Watchmen comics. He wrote and drew the Minutemen comic, and he also wrote the Silk Spectre comic, and those are actually two of my favorite ones, or I think what were the strongest ones of that Before Watchmen line. But yeah, it's sad that it happened. I'm kind of kicking myself because I had an opportunity to meet him at MegaCon a couple years ago, but I either couldn't afford it or his line was too long, and now I kind of wish I, just
Yeah.
sucked it up and
Stuck through it.
yeah, but you win some, you lose some. But he'll be missed. He was a brilliant artist.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Well, on a much more lighter note, because he did do a little bit of work for Marvel, but we did have something remarkable happened this year. We got a Deadpool movie, and
Yes,
not
we did.
like the Wolverine Origins crap. Like we got a legit Deadpool.
Yes, we did.
We call it blender pool because it just looks like someone just threw a bunch of superpowers into a blender and it just
Out popped
just
Wade
mess.
Wilson.
Yeah. I'll be honest though, I had the little action figure of it just because I thought it just was a cool looking little action figure, but then I sold it to somebody. But
Oh,
it was just like, what? I didn't know much about Deadpool at that point, but my friend Sam, who's like a Deadpool aficionado, he's like, no, that is not right at all. What did you guys think
Yeah.
of the movie?
Oh my God, Ryan Reynolds. I don't. They could not find another person to play Wade Wilson. Um, and man, it was fantastic. Probably Fox's best superhero movie.
Oh, by far.
You know,
Ever. Yeah.
that's the only one I feel like they couldn't give back to Disney. Not because they physically couldn't, but just because I feel like
They'll
they're
be too
the only
scared.
ones who can do it like do it the way that the fans want it, the way it is in the comics. Because Disney, they just hold on to it.
Yeah, and I don't see Disney putting out an R-rated movie because Deadpool, he has to be rated R. There's no way it would have had its success if it was PG-13.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it was Kevin Feige came out after Deadpool. He was like, you know, we're very congratulative of Ryan Reynolds and everybody involved on Deadpool, but we're sticking with PG-13.
Yeah,
I can't blame them. I mean,
Yeah.
they've done all that they've done. You know, I mean, even then we've gotten some of the really kind of dark and gritty stuff on the TV shows with Netflix and stuff, but I just don't see
yeah.
Deadpool working as a Netflix show.
No.
At least if within the MCU, it just would be weird.
Yeah, and they need to cross that bridge, Fox and Marvel and Disney. They need to. Deadpool is definitely one we need to see in the actual MCU.
Well, after Fantastic Four, and given the fact that you know we live in a world where Sony and Disney made a deal to where we have Spider-Man happening
Right. Yeah.
in the MCU, which is mind-boggling that would
Yeah.
happen. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess what's gonna kind of settle it is I think with Apocalypse and then the third Wolverine movie that'll kind of be like the swan song to a lot of what started the whole X-Men franchise with Fox. And it's just a matter of seeing if that will coast along. If nothing else, I think Deadpool will be fine, but you never know with the X-Men.
Yeah, and probably the X-Men will just end up being side characters to Deadpool movies.
If the studio
they'll
can
just
afford
they'll turn into a Deadpool cinematic universe.
Yep.
But,
That's the only one that they've done so well with.
yeah, it just that I didn't know what to expect. Like, I mean, I don't have a huge attachment to the character just because I didn't know much about him. I played the video game and I've seen like bits and pieces in the comics here and there. But then, it came out on Valentine's Day, and I thought it was really funny that they did that. And
Yeah.
at its core, it is kind of a love story,
It is.
and it's so well done. And it obviously doesn't take itself seriously, but it's just the way that they handle it was just. It was the movie that needed to come out because we kind of have a lot of tropes with superhero movies now because they're so frequent, and
Yeah.
Deadpool kind of points and laughs at that.
Mhm.
It's kind of like I mean, I don't mean to tangent, but kind of like one of my issues with the Star Wars prequels was, you know, with the originals we had like Han Solo who was kind of making fun of the absurdity of what's happening.
Mhm.
And then you didn't have that in the prequels, where Deadpool is kind of like that movie and that character is like the perfect way to kind of do that with like the superhero craze that's going on right now.
Oh yeah.
and the marketing for Deadpool, with it being Valentine's Day, they went the whole it's a love story. Take your boyfriend, take your girlfriend to go see it, and
Mhm.
and that I thought was icing on the cake because
You're sitting there and you're thinking, "Oh, my boyfriend told me this is a romantic movie."
right.
This guy just turned this like a shish kebab.
Right, yeah. And then the everything else that they had, Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds, they did a testicular cancer awareness thing where he's telling dudes how to check themselves. He also did one for breast cancer, which it's
They're both fun. Have you seen like the Blu-ray release ones? Like they basically done it like it's a Viagra commercial.
yeah.
It's hysterical. Like like the marketing team who did Ant-Man did a good job, except I thought the posters were garbage. But the overall, like they would do stuff like they'd have like ant-sized billboards and stuff. But Deadpool took that and raised it to a whole new level. I mean, literally, I remember there's one banner or not banner. There's one billboard poster that I saw that it's literally just the crap emoji, or it's a skull, the crap emoji, and then an L or something like that. And
Yeah.
just all the different marketing. I mean, the thing is when you have a character where you can't take it that seriously, um, it works to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's it? Tyler, you just sent a wonderful link. You should talk about that.
Yeah, the what's funny is the honest trailers. They actually had Deadpool show up in this episode, and of course do what he does best.
I love that it was actually Ryan Reynolds. It wasn't just a guy doing Deadpool's voice.
Right.
and that's another thing. Ryan Reynolds, I think he's put himself into this character 100%. And and hey, we're Honest Trailers is doing an Honest Trailer Deadpool. We should get in touch with Ryan Reynolds, see if he wants to do anything with this, and he's all for it. And that's awesome, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
like you said, he's completely immersed in the character and just in the concept of it. I mean, it's just like he got so much crap for Green Lantern, and I think he was kind of the least of the problems with that movie. But the fact that he was able to get up on the high horse again with the superhero franchise and just take the world by storm is mind-boggling, and I'm so happy that it went that way.
Yeah, and the same goes for Ben Affleck. Coming off of Daredevil
Yeah.
as his last superhero, he was honestly, in my opinion, he was the only redeemable part of Batman versus Superman. I'm probably gonna catch flack for that, but that's how I feel.
Catch Affleck.
Yeah, right.
Well, no, I agree, and it was kind of like, and I'll say this with Daredevil, the movie's not great, but I don't feel like he was the problem with that. I feel like it was just like the direction that whole thing was going. And even with Batman versus Superman, I mean, Zack Snyder's doing stuff that's not making a lot of people happy, but then at the same time, in my opinion, we finally got a Batman that's like almost identical to some of the comics, at least.
Yes. That was good.
Not just look, but just how he is.
And
Yeah.
speaking of
What's up?
that's all about.
It's cutting out.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so it reminded me of this video that I saw about behind the scenes of Deadpool. And you remember that scene where he's going back and he says, "Don't make it animated."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Don't make the super suit animated
Yeah.
Or green.
or green.
Well, there's a video that came out where they talk about his mask and how they were pulling off the different expressions and how
That was great.
They went really hard into having it be a practical effect, but they actually went in and Weta ended up doing all of the motion cap of Ryan Reynolds' face and putting it onto the mask. So actually every scene that you see of Deadpool's mask is actually animated.
Are you kidding? That's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm glad they did that because their characters underneath the mask, and you usually don't see their facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
And they did that with Spider-Man and Captain America, with his eyelids going wide and kind of getting smaller. And that's, to me, that's where everything needs to go from here on out. They need to do the animation. If they're doing superheroes in mask, they need to animate.
I agree. It was one of those. It's one of those things where A, it has to work with the character, and B, it has to work in a way with the character that makes sense. With Deadpool, you could just flat out animate the mask, and that's just what you're getting. With Spider-Man, I actually really like that, especially tying into how like Civil War has it where Stark and him are together, or kind of like working together. Even in the movie you hear like the little iris of the mechanics in the eyes, like you hear like a little sound every time it closes or opens or whatnot. And so they did it in a way that works within that universe that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like you heard the mechanical, like a lens. If you think about cameras, it was like a lens.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they always go very deep into in the comics is always with the expression of the eyes on the characters that have the mask on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how you express in a comic, and it's just cool that they've been able to bridge that gap in a way that makes sense now.
Yeah, to where you can see that in the live action.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I mean, obviously that's just something that couldn't be done for the longest time, but we're finally in a day and age where it's not like not just does it work, but they've done it twice within the same year, and they've shown that there is no way it doesn't work. You could do it goofy and you can do it realistically.
Right.
Yeah.
What's it? Speaking of other Marvel properties,
Well, one that I know you've definitely been working on. What's his name?
yeah, so well, I'll just say it. Doctor Strange looks cool.
Yes, it does.
um,
It's
I,
gonna be a whole new different style of superhero movie.
it looks like they took Inception and then put magic into it, and I like that a lot.
Oh yeah, you get that whole that sequence in the trailer that is it looks exactly with the city regular, and then it looks like it's mirrored upside down and vertically.
Makes me think of a kaleidoscope without the colors.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know too much about Doctor Strange except for he's a magician and I think he was a surgeon at one point in his life and he gets his hands broke. He was a good surgeon. And
Yeah,
he
he.
gets his
Okay.
hands broken, right?
Yeah, I'm still kind of schooling myself on Doctor Strange, but my buddy Christian has kind of caught me up to speed. Basically, he's a very skilled but arrogant neurosurgeon, and he gets into this really bad car accident, and basically his hands are he can't do surgery anymore just because his hands are so mangled, and so he basically blows all of his money trying to find any sort of cure or treatment, and he is basically on his last rope when he's approached by I don't think the Ancient One's the one who actually approaches him, but somebody who works with the Ancient One basically says, "Look, if you want a way to like regain your ability to help others, come here." And then he ventures to like Nepal or somewhere in is it the Andes? Is that the
He
ones?
kind of looked like that from the
I,
trailer.
I my geography skills aren't the best right now, but yeah, he ventures up there and then he's trained in kind of he lets go of his arrogance. It's almost like it basically take what Yoda did with Luke in Empire Strikes Back and just make it with a neurosurgeon with magic.
Yeah.
And
And
I have no idea who the villain is though. No clue.
yeah, I don't think they've gone in detail
No.
or depth as
There's
to
more
who the villain's going to be.
time in it.
I
Yeah.
think, or what was it? I just think the cast of this movie is insane. I know there's been some controversy over Tilda Swinton playing the Ancient One, and I think it's fair enough, but I will say I just like that they got basically every Shakespearean or like notable English actor to be in this movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
Benedict
I was sold with Cumberbatch because I'm obviously given the name. I'm a huge Sherlock fan of just him in general. I think he's an incredible actor, and they finally nailed him down for this. I was like, there's one of two things that need to happen. If he's in Marvel, he needs to be Doctor Strange. If he's in DC, he needs to be like Brainiac or Martian Manhunter. And they went with Doctor Strange because he's got the face of a leading man.
Right. And they've
Yeah.
already introduced Martin Freeman because he was just he popped up in Civil War and then just kind of was gone again.
There needs to be a scene where the two of them just look at each other and grin and then look away.
Yeah.
It's kind of like there needs to be a scene where Downey and Cumberbatch they're in one of the Marvel movies where they just kind of look at each other and they need to make the joke about the facial hair, just say like there's something familiar about you because obviously they both played Sherlock Holmes and they have similar facial hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the new Iron Man International that has been going on. I don't. It's still a fairly new comic, but Tony Stark was working with Doctor Strange, and he made a reference like he put his hand. They're standing next to each other, facing the reader,
Mm-hmm.
and Iron Man goes. He puts his hand up like to get a high five, and he goes high five for the Mustache Bros. And Doctor Strange just looks at him in the next panel and there's nothing saying. And then in the third panel, he puts his face in his hand and gives Tony a high five. That's yeah.
That's one thing Marvel has been strong out of the gate with is their banter between the characters is priceless. I mean, Civil War showcased that beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And
Yeah, they did.
what's it? I'm going to sneak another segue in here.
Yep.
What's it? Speaking of banter, Spider-Man had some of the best banter in that movie.
Yeah, he did.
We totally, Tyler. We when we did the Captain America review, we totally forgot the Star Wars reference that was made by Spider-Man in that. You know.
Right? Yeah. Kind of upset that we just kind of skipped over that.
Yeah.
But better late than never, I guess.
Right. Yeah. And they can do that now because Disney owns Lucasfilm.
They should have played just in the music cue for a second. They should have had like do 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 or something like that because they own
Right.
both. Come on, let's
Yeah.
cross the streams a little bit.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think? What do you think they should do with Homecoming?
Well, I know that Buddy's said that they're that Junior's already been confirmed that he's going to be in it, so we know we're going to have something to do with Iron Man and Spider-Man.
Okay.
So who knows? I mean, he's already made him the new suit that he has in Civil War. So
See, and that was another thing. That the suit that he made him in the comics, the Iron Spidey suit,
is a lot different
it was way different.
because it's red and gold.
Yeah, and he's got the extendable back, the arms that get
The legs,
yeah. Which I honestly think they didn't go that way because they're trying to bring Spider-Man back into the MCU, so they want you to be more familiar with the classic look.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with that.
Which they did.
Ditko eyes.
They made it different by adding those black stripes or waves around his.
And giving his utility belt where you can see it on the outside and his web shooters on the outside also of his costume.
I feel like they took the best elements from both the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield like Spider-Man and just kind of went like, okay, how can we do this in a way that works with the comics but also works within the MCU so we don't have to reintroduce everything again.
Yeah, I was happy with how they handled Spider-Man.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Homecoming.
Tom Holland killed it.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, personally, I grew up with the Tobey Maguire movies, and Andrew Garfield, just that incarnation of Peter and Spider-Man just resonated with me on a level that I needed at that point. And just on a personal level, that will always be kind of my Spider-Man take. But Tom Holland's the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no two ways about it. He's the comic book.
Yeah, I was very pleased with how he says, and Spider-Man's very near and dear to my heart because that's my favorite superhero is definitely Spider-Man.
Oh,
That was the first, I guess, fandom that I ever went out of my way to, I guess,
Right? Yeah.
get things with.
How did you guys first get exposed to Spider-Man?
With me, I honestly, I don't. I'm gonna say it's the '90s cartoon did it for me. Which that's in my opinion. I know there's been a lot of cartoon variations over the years, but to me that's on the same level as the Batman animated series.
Right, I could agree.
Yeah, agreed.
Because the Spider-Man animated series was how I got into it, but from there, I found this local comic shop and started just buying Spider-Man comics.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you dove straight into the books.
Yeah. And
Nice.
I was this little kid not knowing what I'm doing, and I'm just like, oh, this cover looks cool. This one looks cool. Just reading comics just out of order, just all reckless and such.
Yeah, that was my first comic. Was an Amazing Spider-Man, and I bought it. I think I was with my dad, and we were just out, and he said, "Hey, let's go to this store right here." He took me in, and that's how I bought my first comic book, and I still have that one today.
Dude, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. It was a dad bonding experience and your first comic book. That's pretty awesome.
My dad isn't. He's not into this kind of. I don't know why we stopped there. I have to be honest.
Just for shits and giggles, excuse me.
We just went into the store and it was a little $2 comic, but
That's awesome.
You took your first step into a larger world.
Right, yeah.
One small step for Sean, one giant leap to fandom.
Yeah, that's what sparked it.
I guess for me it was I had seen the old cartoon or the '90s cartoon. I say the old cartoon, but the '90s cartoon. I'd seen like bits and pieces flipping through the channels and stuff, but I remember it was one of my. It was in like I think I was in like first grade when the first movie came out, second grade maybe. But I remember it was like a friend of mine's birthday party, and at this point I was just all Star Wars, nothing else, maybe Indiana Jones, but I wasn't into the whole superhero thing. I loved the Batman animated series, but I just liked that as a cartoon. I wasn't just like married to the idea of a superhero. And we went and saw it for this kid's birthday, and I was like, more, more, more. The minute the movie ended, and I remember I got the N64 game, and then we were at the
Yeah.
grocery store, and I saw like a comic book, and I wasn't much of a reader, but I loved the artwork, and that's kind of where it all started.
Yeah. I remember getting the action figures too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Granted, they weren't what they are today with as far as the articulation goes, but as a kid, you don't care about that. You just want the figure, and it's I'm a little bummed I don't have them still, for nostalgia purposes. But
Yeah.
um, I remember getting the Spider-Man toys and the Batman. I had a huge Batman cave or Bat cave.
Hmm.
Uh, during the time I guess it was the George Clooney era of Batman.
The
Yeah,
bat credit card of bat nipples.
yeah, yeah. The Clooney reign, but yeah, it's very near and dear to my heart, Spider-Man. So I'm liking the way they revamping the character.
They did it in a way where it's just like, we've gotten introductions to the character very recently. And, it's one of those things where it's like you don't really want to tread that ground if you don't have to. And I'm sure that they'll touch on it in Homecoming. I'm sure they're going to flash back to it, but from what it sounds like, I mean, it takes place after Civil War, so
Mhm.
he's very much already Spider-Man, and I think that's a smart move to make.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I mean he was already very much Spider-Man in the Civil
oh
War.
yeah,
Um,
he just got a major
just
upgrade.
That way
yeah,
we're not going
definitely.
back. Because if you notice, we only saw Aunt May. We didn't see Uncle Ben. So we don't
Yeah,
have to relive
You
seeing
know what they
Uncle
need to
Ben
do?
die again.
yeah. That's the thing. Everyone already knows Spider-Man's origin
You know what they
via.
ought to do? Or sorry, go ahead, Sean.
No, no, go ahead. I'm done.
And I know you weren't the biggest fan of this, but I think the depiction of the Wayne's death in Batman vs Superman is the best depiction I've personally seen in a movie because it's pure visuals, it's all music driven, it's something they get out of the way really quick, but they tell you everything you need to know without saying a
Hmm.
word. I
Yeah,
think if they're gonna
that's
do this,
very
the
nice.
Uncle Ben murder, that's how they got to do it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Just show him so we know what he looks like, but just, a title sequence. Do something with it. I mean, it's just, I'm not saying that they have to focus on it, but, just kind of, like when Tony was asking Peter about why he does it, we didn't flat out get why. We just got him basically saying, just because, when you've got abilities like this, you're the bad guy if you're not helping. It'd
Yeah.
be cool just to
Yeah,
kind of delve into that, especially if they're going to go with like a coming of age story. That'd be a cool thing to kind of like call back to. Not linger, but call back to it.
yeah. And we got a young Aunt May, which I thought that was cool because in the comics she's old, but um, I kind of like the way they're heading because with like I said, the younger Aunt May. I'm trying to find out something real quick. I thought that the Tobey Maguire right now is probably the with the actress they got playing Aunt May.
Mm-hmm.
Tobey Maguire, it'd be a nice nod. He's the right age to be Uncle Ben. Um, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah, like that'd be a
I've
cool
read that
callback.
somewhere.
Yeah,
He's already
because
said that. Like he said it, like on I think an Instagram post or something. He's like, yeah, Tom Holland killed it. This kid's great. He
yeah,
passed the torch. I thought that was sweet.
I think that would be a nice little nod.
Yeah.
Well, I guess going on from there, we can kind of segue into Apocalypse because we've got that coming up at the end of the month.
It just snuck up, at least for me.
Yeah, there was so many other things going on. It's like, oh, wait, we've got this. Oh, it's X-Men. Should we get excited? Probably not, but we'll talk about it.
I've liked the last two movies, I'll be honest.
It was. There's just been a lot of talk so far that this is just Bryan Singer's out of stories to tell when it comes to X-Men.
Oh,
You
really?
think?
We're just going to get like a very just dry story, and it's just going to be. It's not what anyone wants.
I hope not, just because, like I said, I like the last two so much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I like for him to finish, because I've heard this is his last one. I'd like for him to finish on a strong note.
Yeah, I mean that would be.
But at the same time, Days of Future Past was a great note to go out on, because that was a good way, at least in the sense of how the movies did. I'm not sure in the comics, but I liked how they were able to bridge the gap between the old and the new.
Yeah, I think just now I think we're getting a lot of characters real quick, a lot of new characters.
What do you think of the cast? Like some of the new people that they got.
The I can't remember what her name was. She's in Game of Thrones. She's playing Jean Grey.
Yeah, Sansa Stark.
Sophie Turner.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what I've seen of Game of Thrones, she's a pretty good actress. I'm actually pretty excited to see how she takes Jean Grey.
Yeah.
But they built up the one Jean Grey, and now since we've just pretty much erased all of that, we're just starting off completely new. But we've got a lot of characters now that we're just starting off.
Yeah,
And
we've
it's like, are we rebooting? Are we going for more? What's going on? Lots going on here.
I think they're going in the reboot direction because of the fact that they've got a new Jean Grey, a Scott Summers, and they're introducing have we seen Jubilee in any of the other X-Men movies?
I don't
Do you recall? I don't either, and this is the first time I'm seeing her. Same with Psylocke, we're getting her too.
I'm fine with that though. I also think Olivia Munn is very pretty.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue with you on that one.
And I as an actress, I like her a lot. I thoroughly enjoyed her on Newsroom.
Did you know that she actually turned down? She was going to play the girlfriend in Deadpool.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I like the girl that they got, the chick from Firefly.
Yeah.
Is she on Gotham?
Yeah, she's also in Gotham.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't follow Gotham, but I remember hearing her name thrown around with Gotham.
Yeah, she's Jim Gordon's new love interest, if I'm not mistaken.
There are worse interests out there to have.
Yeah. We're getting to see Mystique as a teacher for the X-Men, which we haven't seen in the past. I don't know her backstory. I thought she's always been a bad guy.
Yeah, same here.
But we're seeing her in the trailers as a new teacher because apparently Professor X gets kidnapped by Apocalypse and the air quotes the four horsemen of the Apocalypse. But yeah, we see him or her stepping up as a leader, which I think that's kind of cool.
I think it's cool, but I kind of have the same issue with how she's being handled as I do with Magneto. I feel like they keep, like, at the beginning of the movie they're the bad guy, then they become the good guy at the end, or some form of that, and I'm kind of like, there's no consistency with it, and that's something that kind of bothers me. I feel like if any of them have a bit more consistency, either of the two, it would be Mystique a bit. But I don't know. It's just I feel like they kind of just I don't know. That's something that kind of bothers me. And also it's like so the first movie was in the 60s. The second movie's in the 70s. This new one's in the 80s. No one's aged.
Right? Yeah.
It's like I get it and it's cool that they're wanting to go with the whole period thing with it, but it's just like you said, if Mystique's playing a teacher, it's like she still looks like 20-year-old Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, I'm not trying to nitpick, but it's just like that's something that kind of irks me a little bit.
Yeah. something that stood out also to me in the trailer is Evan Peters as Quicksilver. He's talking to, I don't know who he's talking to, but he makes the reference, "Oh, Magneto's my father," and it was Mystique he was talking to, and
Hmm.
she goes, "What?" And then he's like, "Yeah, my mom and dad, they, and Evan Peters as Quicksilver. I'm happy with that casting decision.
I was gonna ask which one do you guys prefer, him or Aaron Taylor Johnson?
I think I prefer Evan Peters.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
I just felt like his character was just more. I don't know. He did more. I felt like
Yeah.
Quicksilver in
There's
the
more character
Avengers.
to it.
Yeah, he was just kind of an insert character. I don't know. That's just me. But oh yeah, Sean, do you know if they're doing any like figure tie-ins to this?
They actually are I don't know when, but we're getting a new Marvel Legends uh, set. I don't know who the Build-A-Figure is going to be,
Hmm.
but yeah, we are getting a Marvel Legends.
Now, are they based on the characters as they appear in the movie, or are they just doing comic versions?
I am not sure. I'm going to have to look into that more.
Because they haven't done anything at all with the other movies. The only one I know of is like in Days of Future Past, Wolverine got a figure,
Yeah,
but
the last X-Men Marvel Legends was about 2 years ago, and they were based off the comic variants of the characters, and the Build-A-Figure for that was Jubilee. Um,
that makes sense.
yeah, but
I
I'm
just really wanted an Olivia Munn Psylocke figure,
yeah, right.
or a Michael Fassbender Magneto.
Oh yeah, that's definitely it.
Oh, and what do you guys think of Nightcrawler?
Did we get a good glimpse of him?
Not
He
really. It
speaks in
was
the
kind of
latest
quick.
trailer, right?
I don't think he does.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, the 2016 X-Men Marvel Legends series looks like it's gonna have Cable, uh, Phoenix, Rogue, Deadpool, uh, and
So Kitty Pryde, yeah.
Kitty Pryde, Iceman, and I don't is that that's not uh, Cyclops. I don't know who
It's
that one is.
Havoc.
Havoc, yeah. And
That Cable looks wonderful.
they're comic variants of the characters, and yeah, that's that wave. I
The
don't know
room
when it's coming
sounds.
out yet. Yeah, that road looks really good. We'll put links to these
Yeah,
pictures
we're a very
on
visual podcast.
yeah, we'll put links up.
Yeah, and while we're talking about this, Sean, if you want to kind of go in and tell them about what you're going to start doing as far as figures go.
I'm going to start. We're gonna make an Instagram account, and we're gonna start having little uh, action figure reviews. As far as the Marvel Legends go, that's probably gonna be the
What we're
the
going to start off with.
start off with, and it's probably gonna be the main thing, or gonna be the Legends, because that's I'll try to branch out and collect other stuff, but for me, it's the Legends are what I like to collect. But we will be doing an Instagram account and making videos and reviewing uh, the Captain America Civil War set that has been out for a few months now.
Nice. You
And if
just
there's
got the
any,
Black Panther too.
Yeah. The first review is probably gonna be Black Panther, followed by Nuke and um, who else? I got someone else today. I don't remember. Nick Fury. Nick Fury. Comic book variant, not Sam Jackson.
oh yeah,
Do you have the Sam Jackson?
I do have the Sam Jackson.
Okay, I was gonna say
Yeah.
because well, that's something we can talk about later. But I have one if you wanted
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I got the Sam Jackson, Agent Coulson, and Agent Hill set that was a Toys R Us exclusive. Not too
Oh,
long ago.
nice,
Yeah.
nice. Not to tangent, but did you guys? I just rewatched Winter Soldier before my girlfriend and I went and saw Civil War. Did you guys catch that on Nick Fury's headstone is Ezekiel 25:17?
hmm
I did not.
yeah, that was funny.
That was great. I had noticed that before.
Like a
That
little
was
nod
really
to
great.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Mm. Haha, I missed it. Dang it. Yeah.
There's always next time.
Right. And how about back to X-Men?
Sure.
They teased Wolverine at the end. That I thought was pretty cool. And we've got one more Wolverine uh,
Huge jacked man.
yeah, there we go. We've got one more Wolverine, which I'm gonna be sad when he leaves because I'm thinking of current actors. I don't know anyone who
I
might be
think if
able to.
they were smart, they'd leave it be for a while. That's actually something I kind of have a small gripe with Star Wars right now. Is well, spoilers. We lose Han at the end of Force Awakens, and they're already prepping and have recently cast the young Han Solo for the young Han Solo standalone movie, and I'm kind of like, I kind of had the same issue when they, spoilers again, killed off the Joker in Arkham City, and then not 2 years later we get Arkham Origins, and it's just like, oh, here's the Joker again, but it's a prequel story. It's kind of like, oh, we kind of threw our moneymaker out the window, so we have to bring him back.
Is Arkham Origins though? Was that part of the actual storyline? Because it's a different studio that it's Rocksteady Montreal, right? That did Origins.
Warner Brothers game.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, and yeah, they're different studios. So honestly, I played Origins. It was okay. I thought Troy Baker did a good job as a Joker.
Troy Baker was cool.
Yeah. But I honestly I don't. If it is part of the storyline, it is. I don't consider it part of the storyline. I consider Batman Arkham Island. Or Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. Those are the three that I consider story, actual canon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the Origins is kind of just a placeholder.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong, but
the fight with Deathstroke's hard. At least it was for me.
Yeah. Now that you're talking about Star Wars, let's talk Rogue One.
Yeah.
Tyler, I'll let you take the reins on that one.
Oh yeah, Master Luke.
Pretty new for everyone. We're actually going to have a film that's not like your typical Star Wars film. It's not, an episode film. It's its own Star Wars story, as they're calling it.
EU movies, except they're different EU canon. They're making it up now.
You know what? All that stuff that you like and it's been out for a couple decades. Yeah, none of that's good.
Wah. I wasn't a big fan of the
new stuff.
I'm kind of.
We might pick some of the old stuff out. We don't know.
Can we just do Shadows of the Empire?
That storyline and Star Wars Death Troopers are really the only two books I read.
Yep, same here.
100%, and those two are, in my opinion, they even made the Shadows of the Empire game for the 64 back.
That game is amazing.
Yeah, I would be happy with that becoming, I guess.
I just want Dash Rendar in a movie.
Right?
That and what's it? It also that they cover some of the events in between the original trilogy that I liked. And that's actually something else. I don't know if you guys read Dark Horse's Star Wars series that they did shortly before they had to turn it back over to Marvel. Yeah. But that was wonderful. The first book is basically it's weeks, maybe months after they destroyed the Death Star, and they just pick up from there. And it's about the founding of Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, and that's what we're getting with Rogue One. It's
is that what it is?
Yeah, it's set in between episode 3 and 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Because it's the strike team that gets the Death Star plans, right?
Right.
And
it's the moments up until when Leia hands off the plans to R2. It's everything before that moment.
Yeah.
See, that's cool.
We get to see in this trailer too, Mon Mothma, which Return of the Jedi.
Casting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you realize that there's actually a deleted scene on Revenge of the Sith where that same actress plays Mon Mothma and the count in one of the their council meetings. but it was a deleted scene, so it was.
Like the same actress who's playing her in Rogue One?
Yep.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah.
it? Or go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I just like, well, I think we're gonna actually kind of like watch the trailer in a second, but I got like a huge Zero Dark 30 vibe from it, and I like that a lot.
Yes. Yes. That's and that's what's going to be great because it's not going to be it's not going to flow like all the other ones have because you know
Yeah.
how we all realize the new one it reminds us of the old one just with certain things that it references to just and how it flows, but this
Mhm.
here is something totally different.
Yeah.
It's familiar territory, but new territory at the same time.
Yeah, I like how they're placing this one in between episode 2 and 3. I kind of wish, we had a placeholder in between the Attack of the Clones and the Revenge of the Sith with the Clone Wars, the cartoon.
Yeah.
Um, I would have loved to have seen, an actual live action movie. Whether if it brings in some of the characters from the Clone Wars show, I think that would be awesome. But I would have loved to see, Anakin and Obi-Wan more so uh, doing their thing like they did the Clone Wars. But, I'm not bashing the Clone Wars because that's one of the best animated shows. Again, I'm gonna put it up there as my top three with the Amazing Spider-Man and the Batman animated series because it's fantastic. If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
It's wonderful. I just started watching it actually, and it's one of the first few episodes gave me it felt like the classic Star Wars, but it was set with the prequels, and I liked that.
Yeah. And
Like
that's what I think
there's
we're gonna get with Rogue One.
like there's one scene in one of the episodes where it's like Yoda and a troop of clones are waiting for like to ambush this like droid convoy, and Yoda just kind of like teaches them to like look within themselves and find who they are.
Hmm.
And I think one of them says like, "Well, who's going to care if we die? We're a bunch of clones." And he tells them it's not about how you look on the inside; it's how you are on the how you look on the outside, how you look on or how you are on the inside. You get what I'm saying? But it's just
Yeah.
one of those things where that's Empire Yoda, and I love that.
Hmm. And also in the trailer, we get to see a. I don't. Get confused with the ranking of the Imperials, but it looked like a Grand Moff, if I'm not mistaken,
The
dressed in
dude with the
all
cape.
dressed in all white. Is that a Grand Moff,
No, that's
Tyler?
I want to say it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was actually trying to look into, trying to figure out what his role is.
Also, are the AT-ATs like premature, like prototype ones?
They
Yeah,
did look different. Yeah.
and that was one of the things that I liked that I noticed with Gareth Edwards, since he's I mean the things that he's done have just been big in scale.
What a career. He does a movie with 6 people for like $500,000.
Hmm.
Then Warner Brothers calls him to do Godzilla. That's a big hit. And then he gets to work on his dream project, like in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it's like what's his name and when did he take yourself?
Yeah,
It's like
I
how do you
want the
go
movie
from
about his life. Like, when did he make the deal with Satan? Or the robot devil, if you're a Futurama fan.
Okay. Yeah. It wasn't a Grand Moff. I was wrong. I'm still looking as to what the ranking would be, but because if you remember in a New Hope, we get we get a look at when they're at the meeting where the guy's like, or Darth Vader says, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." Um, there's a background character who it's Admiral Tarkin from the Clone Wars, and he's sitting chilling on the back of the table in all white. So, and it's not a Grand Moff. I was wrong. That would be Tarkin. Tarkin is a Grand Moff, and it's two different rankings.
Is that Gary Oldman who's playing the guy? Because he looks kind of like Gary Oldman to me.
No, it's not.
Okay. Like the one shot where it's like the doors are opening and he's just kind of standing there. I'm like, did they get Gary Oldman in a Star Wars movie? Because that's amazing. I mean, they got Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. But who's his character? I don't know anything about what's going on with him.
Which one? Forrest Whitaker?
Forrest Whitaker's character, yeah.
That I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Are we going to see Darth Vader in Rogue One? Do you guys think we will
I
get?
believe so. I mean, I don't really see how you can do this without having him in it.
Yeah,
Let's be
Right.
honest.
at
Right.
this point.
And will we get James Earl Jones back as
The
Darth
voice.
Vader?
He
Yeah,
did it for. I think he did it for Rebels.
Yeah, he did it-
So I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, he did.
definitely. Yeah, he did for Rebels.
What was it? I wanted to point something out. There's one shot where you see what looks like these like Imperial shuttles being blown up, and they kind of almost look like a early version of Kylo's ship.
Hmm.
That and what else? Are the blacked out stormtroopers? Are those like are those no, what,
Shadow
dark
Troopers?
troopers? Yeah, or shadow troopers? Yeah.
Yeah, Shadow Troopers.
I'm thinking of like Dark Troopers from one of the video games or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Because it's got a different designed helmet than anything we've seen, but we have some of the familiar, white stormtrooper armor.
Yeah, we've got the classic Stormtrooper, and then these guys. They almost look like a Death Squad. They look like it's like the Empire recruited people from Hydra,
Yeah,
and I mean that in a good way. Um,
and then you get to see Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso at the very end in an Imperial getup.
I heard a crazy
Do you think-
theory on Kevin Smith's podcast. Could I run that by you guys?
Go for it.
They're saying that they are like, we don't know anything. They don't know if this is what would happen. But their idea was that I think it was Mark Bernardin said the whole reason she's in that is because it actually will feed partially into the events of Star Wars, i.e. the Death Star battle.
Oh yeah.
And she's actually one of the TIE fighters that accompanies Vader, and she's the one that actually hits him when he goes tumbling out into space. Like, she suicide bombs to save the mission. That's why we don't hear about her again. So then you get everybody with Luke celebrating that the Death Star has been destroyed, but then you get like Felicity Jones' squad over there mourning her loss.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
didn't think about that. I
I think
thought
that'd be
she's.
sick.
Yeah, that's definitely a good
I
point.
mean, 'cause it makes sense. I mean, for any reason why she's in it, just because. I mean, she's having to infiltrate it. So. It's like we saw with Luke and Han in A New Hope.
Yeah.
They beat down some troopers. They took their gear, and
I'm just
You know how
happy
that
to
story
know that
ends.
there's some underweared stormtroopers somewhere in the Millennium Falcon that they somehow disposed of before they got out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. What happened to those
The
guys?
garbage chute.
Yeah. I was thinking that Jyn Erso, her character, she was dressed as an Imperial. That's where she starts. She starts as an Imperial, whatever.
Kind of like Finn.
Yeah, like Finn, and I guess if they go that way, yeah. And she turns her back on it, and then she gets into the rebellion. But
When she
I
says
like
that
theory.
line,
What was that?
when she says that line, this is a rebellion, isn't it? I
Yeah.
rebel. I was just like, yes, like she's gonna be such a great character.
That's why I think that scene there is going to be shown early in the film, and it's her rebelling against like Finn in the New
Yeah.
Order.
Like her getting.
But I do like that.
killed.
Yeah, I do like that theory though. It was that Kevin Smith and I guess his guys talked about. I like that theory.
Yeah, that is an interesting
I would praise them so much for going in that direction. I would be willing to say that that's not how it's going to go, but if that is how it goes, that's some amazing stuff.
Yeah, I mean that'd be
Yeah.
a cool way to tie it in.
Yeah.
Definitely definitely catch a lot of people off guard, I think.
Actually, what's it? We had something written down to kind of somewhat Star Wars segue. So is Battlefront 2 happening? Like
Yeah.
the DICE version?
Yeah, we're getting just getting a a whole another new game.
Now, is that like the new trilogy? Is that the prequels? Do we know yet?
I think right now we just pretty much know that it's coming,
Mhm.
and that's pretty much it. We're really going to get a lot of it at a celebration this year.
When is that?
That is in July, I believe.
Okay, and that's
Yeah, so it's Europe. Yeah, Celebration Europe.
okay.
Yeah. So it's not EA anymore. It's going to be Dice. Is that what you were saying?
Oh well, I know Dice is doing, or they did the first one, but they did it with EA. I don't know how they're gonna do it the second one. I'd like it if EA wasn't involved.
Yeah, I would
It's,
too. Cause,
Well, see, it says yeah, it's through EA.
oh, you got to pretty much buy another video game to have
Yeah.
the expansions.
What did you guys think of Battlefront?
Oh, I thought it
I
was a
mean,
fantastic game.
yeah, what I had was great. It just didn't have enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree, and I think some of the perks can be worked out a bit better
Yeah.
because it felt like if you didn't what's it if you didn't have like like I don't know, you get killed by some guy who had the best or a good gun or a better gun than you did. By the time you got the gun he did, he already had like a god tier weapon and he could just smoke you with it.
Yeah,
Like I think zero punctuation kind of hit it on the tee with kind of it's like what's there is good, but they kind of need to make it where it's less like OP at times with certain characters or certain players.
yeah, and then add a storyline.
Yeah, thank you, because that was
Like even John Boyega tweeted, he was like, "Come on, guys, they need a storyline."
Oh yeah. Because storyline that would have been so awesome.
well, it's like why not? The last few games have had it. I get why they're like we're trying to focus on making the best possible game that we can make, but at the same time, it's like okay, now that you can't use that excuse anymore. You've been to the
Right.
Lucas Archives, you've seen everything, you've got everything. Now that you've shown that you can produce a amazingly beautiful looking Star Wars game that can play very well,
Now to go all out and hold
improve
everything
it.
back.
Yeah, we need an Empire Strikes Back. We need
EA
something.
Strikes Back.
Well, EA needs to. Well, I'm not going to say that, but but it's one of those things where it's like okay, you've covered that ground, cover more.
Yeah.
Give us more than just like basically multiplayer, and then basically you have to pay so much money to get more multiplayer. Like there weren't enough maps.
Yeah, you have to buy the game, and then you got to spend more money to get the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Like,
that's ridiculous.
This isn't like an iPhone game. Come on,
Right.
we shouldn't have to pay to do everything.
Right.
So, I don't
We
know.
should get the game, and it should be a complete game, and then there should be just extra levels that you can play, but are not,
Yeah.
imperative to the entire story.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a great graphic I saw that kind of illustrated that. It's like like games like a few years ago, and it had like a cheeseburger, and then it had
Yeah.
like if you want extra cheese or this or that, extra something. Where now it's like you have like the patty and like the bun, and that's
Yep.
your game, and then all the other stuff is like DLC, and I
Yep.
think that's ridiculous that it's kind of gotten to that level.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
again, it's a business, but come on.
I guess it's a good way for them to expand on one game while they're working on another. Like the Call of Duty games, they do the same thing with the all the DLC that they come out with. Um, I mean, I'm okay with it. How they handle it. But yeah, the way EA did with the whole paying another $60 was not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, it's one thing if it's like the DLC is literally adding basically an entire game's worth of content to it. Like I think like the new Fallout DLC has an immense amount of gameplay within it. But it's just like at this point, it's like you're gonna make people pay basically for just more maps. That's silly. I
Right.
was really hoping one of the DLCs was gonna be like a story-based thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
Nope. Unfortunately not.
No. Hey, but before we wrap this up, I want to make a mention that Disney Infinity is now done.
Done.
Have you guys heard
They
about it?
closed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Um, they're coming out with a few more play sets. You've got the Alice Through the Looking Glass play set coming out, and you've got Finding Dory coming out. And I think there's one more. I don't recall off the top of my head, but after these play sets come out, they're done.
that just happened out of the blue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought they were doing pretty good as far as sales.
Oh yeah.
Because Disney they I think they could have kept this going for a while because they
Especially with all
call
the Star Wars and Marvel stuff. Come on,
yeah
there's
yeah
money to be made there.
it's called Disney Infinity for a reason, and I think the real reason is because you have an infinite amount of possibilities to play the game.
Yeah.
I think the real reason it's called that is because they have an infinite amount of characters to pull from and make as playable characters.
Well, it makes sense given like like there's Nintendo's got their thing that they're doing, and then there's like the Skylanders or whatever. It's like if there's any kind of like company or entertainment company that really could capitalize on that whole area, it was Disney because they have their fingers in everything. They have obviously their own original characters that they're continually adding like people and princesses and characters to. Then
Right.
they just got Star Wars, they've got Marvel, they've got all these characters. It's just kind
They've
of
got
like
everything.
yeah, and it's just kind of like all of a sudden, wait, no more? That's it? Like
Right.
I've played the game a few times. I have a few of the figurines just because I love how the figures look. But I'm gonna have to jump on getting some of the Star Wars ones because they're gonna be hard to get.
Right. Yeah. That's a little disappointing. I know that wasn't part of our show notes, but it came to me while we were doing the show.
Oh no, you're good.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, mention that, with all the games we're talking about. But yeah, I'm a little bummed that they are calling it quits on the Infinity game.
Because they're outsourcing all their video game stuff now, I believe.
Hmm.
There you go. Call Ubisoft. Make a Pirates game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright. Well, like, looks like that about wraps it up for today. Got a lot of stuff we got covered there.
Yeah, wow. That was dense.
So our next episode is actually going to be a first of a series of ones that we're going to start doing, some commentaries, and our first one's going to be of The Force Awakens. So that'll be released this weekend. So we're pretty excited to get together and watch a film that we all waited very impatiently for.
God, man, the anticipation for that movie. Whew.
Yep, and the amount of times that the movie has been seen amongst the three of us would probably
Yeah.
scare a lot of people. So
Yeah.
we keep those numbers classified.
I've seen Star Wars 500 times, as Tracy Morgan would say.
But yeah. So until next time, stay nerdy.
Later, guys.
See ya.